Again, with new details into the investigation of the downing of Malaysia Airlines Flight 17. Malaysian Prime Minister Najib Razak says pro-Russian rebels have agreed to hand over the black boxes from the plane. Najib says it's part of an agreement he reached with rebel leader Alexander Borodai Monday night.
The two black boxes will be handed over to a Malaysian team in Donetsk who will take custody of them. Thirdly, independent international investigators will be guaranteed safe access to the crash site to begin a full investigation of the incident.
The Prime Minister says Malaysia has been working behind the scenes to establish contact and strike an agreement with those in charge of the crash site. Let's go more for details on the fate of the plane's black boxes. And CCTV's Roee Ruttenberg is live for us in Kiev. And Roee, any clues right now on when the boxes will be handed over?
We understand that about 20 minutes ago, the Malaysian delegation arrived and met with Alexander Borodai. They met in front of the media, then went into a closed room. It's unclear when exactly they will get those black boxes, but it was expected that they will be the ones receiving them. Originally, Borodai had said he will keep them in his control until he can hand it over to representatives from ICAO. That's the International Civil Aviation Organization, a body of the United Nations. Now it appears it will be given to the Malaysian delegation. This, of course, is critical for Malaysia. This is the second Malaysian Airlines flight that has crashed, and the Malaysians are very keen to find out exactly what's happened. I should also point out that the Ukrainians on Monday expressed their concern all the way at the top level of the government here that those black boxes were in control of the separatists. They say they fear that it's was likely tampered by the separatists, and they wonder exactly what sort of damage may have already been caused.
I see. Roee, what about the war of words that's going on between Russian and Ukrainian officials?
Indeed, lots of accusations, and they just keep building. Some of the harshest language I heard today coming from the Ukrainian Prime Minister Arseniy Yatsenyuk, using a word to refer to the separatists that we probably should spare our viewers for the sake of decency, but strong accusations saying that it was the separatists, drunk separatists, he noted, that had the assistance of special Russian trained agents who received military training in Russia, came across the border and fired that Buk missile that they believe shot down flight MH17. And also, again, strong language denying accusations coming from Moscow that radar images showing that Ukraine had fighter jets capable of shooting down that plane at that time were flying around there. Ukraine says the images are fabricated, and it's offered to show all of its evidence to international investigators, and it's asking Moscow to do the same.
Now to the train, Roee, holding the remains of MH17 victims. The separatists decided to let the train leave. Where is it headed, and why did they finally grant the departure?
Yeah, it's unclear what was the final piece of pressure that convinced them to let it go. They had said all along that they were waiting for international investigators to arrive. We know that on Monday, a team of 3 Dutch experts arrived. They examined the trains. They opened the carts. They said it smelled of death, but they said that the refrigeration was proper, that the bodies were well kept, and they had been given assurances that the train would depart. It was supposed to leave the area of Torres, some 15 kilometers from the crash site, head to the regional capital, Donetsk, and then perhaps on to Kharkiv. This is where the government of Ukraine had been wanting the train to go. It set up a facility there, hotels there for the families, the next of kin, to identify the bodies, and 31 international experts already arrived in Kharkiv on Monday morning. They want that to be ground zero for this, and they promised to help repatriate the bodies to the Netherlands, of course, and to Malaysia and to the other countries. They also indicated that they had no choice but to negotiate with what they consider to be terrorists in order to ensure that that train leaves. There may have also been some additional pressure from Russia, of course, as all of these countries expressed their outrage that these bodies are effectively sitting there waiting, sitting in a train car, waiting to be released.
Wow. Well, Roee, now tell us about the ongoing fighting quickly in eastern Ukraine.
Yeah, all of this can't be forgotten. The context that all this is happening, a continued escalation in the fighting now several months. We're hearing reports that Ukrainian authorities, the military, may have regained control of Donetsk airport, which they lost a few months ago. And also, we understand that the Kiev-backed governor of Donetsk region, not the so-called Prime Minister of Donetsk People's Republic, but the actual governor that's backed by this government here, has urged the residents of Donetsk city, some 900,000 people, to flee the city ahead of a possible offensive in Donetsk city as the government and the military tries to retake control of that very important city, the site of some of the bloodiest fighting that we've seen. And just on Monday in Donetsk, 5 people killed, 21 civilians injured. So the escalation, the fighting here is growing and growing by the day.
Roee, thank you so much. Reporting live from Kiev.